Welcome to our latest UK album chart review, where we're reviewing each of the albums and artists that reached number 1 in the UK during 1977. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified of new content. Thanks. Before we review the number ones, here's a quick preview of the 9 albums that just missed out and only made number 2 on the chart. There'll be a separate video posted to this channel that reviews the near misses, so keep a lookout for that. Now, on with the show. First up for 1977, it was the compilation album Glen Campbell's 20 Golden Greats. This was the 7th of Glen Campbell's 15 UK charting albums, and it was his sole UK number 1. Among the 20 tracks on the album are Campbell's 2 UK number 4 hits, Honey Come Back and Rhinestone Cowboy, and his number 7 single Wichita Lineman.
Honey, come back where you belong to.
Like a rhinestone cowboy and the Wichita Lineman.
Glen Campbell's 20 Golden Greats entered the chart at number 5 on the 14th of November 1976, and it reached the top of the chart the following week. It stayed at number 1 for 6 weeks, and it spent a total of 27 weeks on the chart. Glen Campbell next entered the UK album chart with his album Southern Nights, which peaked at number 51 in April. After that, he didn't chart again until 1989, when the complete Glen Campbell reached number 47. Queen replaced Glen Campbell at number 1 with A Day at the Races, which served as a companion to the band's previous album, A Night at the Opera. A Day at the Races gave Queen the 5th of their 37 UK charting albums, and it was the 2nd of their 10 UK number 1s. The album contained 10 tracks, and it featured their number 2, Somebody to Love, and their UK top 40 singles Tie Your Mother Down and Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy.
I'm a good old-fashioned lover boy.
A Day at the Races entered the chart at number 8 on the 19th of December 1976, and it reached the number 1 spot 2 weeks later, where it stayed for a single week. The album has spent a total of 37 weeks on the UK album chart. Queen next charted with News of the World in November 1977, reaching number 4. They followed that up with Jazz, which peaked at number 2 in November 1978. Following Queen to the top of the chart, it was ABBA with Arrival, the group's 4th studio album. Arrival was the 4th of ABBA's 23 UK charting albums, and it was their 2nd number 1 following their success with Greatest Hits in 1976. It contained 10 tracks, including the UK number 1 hits, Dancing Queen and Knowing Me, Knowing You, and the number 3 single Money, Money, Money.
You are the dancing queen, young and sweet. Knowing me, knowing you, it's the best I can do. Money, 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 must be funny.
Arrival entered the UK album chart at number 6 on the 21st of November 1976, and it reached number 1 on the 9th of January 1977, where it initially stayed for a single week. It reclaimed the top spot on the 10th of April, and it stayed there for a further 9 weeks. The album has spent a total of 94 weeks on the chart. ABBA's next album to chart was their 5th studio album, The Album, which reached number 1 for 7 weeks from February 1978. Their 6th studio album, Voulez-Vous, then topped the chart for 4 weeks from May 1979. American country music singer and guitarist Slim Whitman replaced ABBA at number 1 with his album Red River Valley. This was the 3rd of Slim Whitman's 7 UK album chart entries, and it was the 2nd of his 2 UK number 1 albums, following his success with The Very Best Of in 1976. The album contained 12 tracks, and included Slim Whitman's versions of Una Paloma Blanca and Rhinestone Cowboy, as well as It's a Small World, a song which is known as the theme for the Disney theme park ride of the same name.
Like a rhinestone cowboy, riding out on a horse. It's a small world after all.
Red River Valley entered the chart at number 4 on the 9th of January, and it reached number 1 the following week, where it stayed for 4 weeks. It spent a total of 14 weeks on the chart. Slim Whitman registered on the UK album chart again in 1977, with Home on the Range peaking at number 2 in October. After that, he reached number 27 with Ghost Riders in the Sky in 1979. Up next, it was The Shadows with their compilation, 20 Golden Greats. This gave The Shadows the 12th of their 37 UK album chart entries, with their first being Me and My Shadows with Cliff Richard in 1960. It was also the third of their 4 UK #1 albums. Among the hits included on the album are The Shadows' #1 singles Apache and Wonderful Land, and their number 6, FBI. 20 Golden Greats entered the chart at number 48 on the 6th of February, and it reached number 1 a week later. It stayed at the top of the chart for 6 weeks, and it spent a total of 42 weeks on the chart. The Shadows next charted with 2 albums in 1979. First, Thank You Very Much, an album of The Shadows' 1978 reunion concerts with Cliff Richard, reached number 5. Then their compilation, String of Hits, spent 3 weeks at number 1. Frank Sinatra followed The Shadows to number 1 with Portrait of Sinatra, 40 Songs from the Life of a Man, a compilation of songs that Sinatra had recorded for Reprise Records. This was the 52nd of Sinatra's 70 UK charting albums, and it was the 4th and final of his number 1s following his success with Songs for Swinging Lovers in 1956, and This Is Sinatra and A Swinging Affair, both in 1957. Among the 40 tracks included on the compilation are Sinatra's versions of That's Life, Bad Bad Leroy Brown, and For Once in My Life.
That's life. Yeah, he's bad, bad Leroy Brown. For once in my life, I got someone who
Portrait of Sinatra entered the chart at number 12 on the 13th of March, and it reached the top of the chart 2 weeks later. It stayed at number 1 for 2 weeks, and it spent a total of 18 weeks on the chart. Frank Sinatra next charted with another compilation, 20 Golden Greats, in 1978, which peaked at number 4. He then didn't chart until 1984, when his album with the Quincy Jones Orchestra, LA Is My Lady, reached number 41. After Frank Sinatra, ABBA's arrival reclaimed the top spot for 9 weeks. Then, it was the turn of the Beatles with their first official live recording, The Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl. This gave the Beatles the 19th of their 54 UK charting albums, and it was the 12th of their 15 number 1s, following their chart-topping success with 11 of their studio albums. It was their first number 1 album since the release of their final studio album, Let It Be, in 1970. The album contained 13 songs compiled from 3 performances at the Hollywood Bowl in 1964 and 1965. It includes performances of their number 1 singles She Loves You, Can't Buy Me Love, and A Hard Day's Night. The Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl entered the chart at number 8 on the 15th of May, and it reached number 1 4 weeks later, where it stayed for a single week. The album spent a total of 17 weeks on the chart. The next Beatles album to chart was the compilation Love Songs, which peaked at number 7 in early 1978. After that, Rarities entered the chart for a week in 1979, reaching number 71. The Muppets were next to the top spot with The Muppet Show soundtrack, which includes a selection of songs from Season 1 of The Muppet Show. This was the first of 2 Muppet soundtrack albums to enter the UK album chart. The album contains 21 tracks. It opens with The Muppet Show theme, followed by Mississippi Mud, and it closes with Kermit's theme song, Being Green.
This is what we call our Muppet Show. It's a treat to beat street on the Mississippi Mud. It's a treat to beat street on the Mississippi Mud. What a dance!
It's not easy being green.
The Muppet Show entered the chart at number 4 on the 5th of June, and it reached the number 1 spot 2 weeks later. It stayed at the top of the chart for a single week, and it spent a total of 34 weeks on the chart. The Muppets released 1 further soundtrack album, and The Muppet Show Volume 2 charted in February 1978, peaking at number 16. After The Muppets, it was the turn of A Star Is Born, the soundtrack album to the 1976 musical film of the same name, performed by the film stars Barbra Streisand and Kris Kristofferson. A Star Is Born contained 11 tracks. Amongst them are the theme song Evergreen, which was a UK number 3 hit single, Watch Closely Now, and The Woman in the Moon.
Each night a first.
Are you watching me now?
I said the woman in the moon.
A Star Is Born first charted on the 3rd of April at number 29, and it reached number 1 on the 26th of June. It stayed at the top of the chart for 2 weeks, and it spent a total of 3 weeks on the chart. Barbra Streisand also registered on the UK album chart in 1977 with Streisand's Superman, which peaked at number 32 in August. Kris Kristofferson hit the album chart again in 1978 with Natural Act, his album with Rita Coolidge, which reached number 35. Johnny Mathis was next to number 1 with his compilation The Mathis Collection. This was the 15th of Johnny Mathis's UK charting albums, with his first being as far back as 1958. It was also the first of his 2 UK number 1s. The album contains 40 tracks, including both album tracks and songs that had registered on the UK singles chart. Among the hits are Misty, I'm Stone in Love with You, and his number 1, When a Child is Born.
I get misty the moment you're near. 'Cause I'm stone in love with you. When a child is born.
The Mathis Collection entered the chart at number 9 on the 12th of June, and it reached number 1 on the 10th of July, where it stayed for 4 weeks. The album has spent a total of 39 weeks on the chart. Johnny Mathis next charted with the album Sweet Surrender, which registered at number 55 for a week in December 1977. After that, he reached number 3 in May 1978 with the album You Light Up My Life. Yes replaced Johnny Mathis at the top of the chart with Going for the One, the band's 8th studio album. Going for the One gave Yes the 9th of their 27 UK charting albums, and it was their second number 1 following 1973's Tales from Topographic Oceans. The album contains 5 tracks, including the UK top 40 singles Going for the One and Wondrous Stories, and the 15-minute long track Awaken. Going for the One first entered the chart at number 3 on the 24th of July, and it reached number 1 2 weeks later. It stayed at the top of the chart for 2 weeks, and it spent a total of 28 weeks on the chart. Yes next entered the UK album chart in October 1978 with their 9th studio album, Tormato, which reached number 8. Their follow-up studio album, Drama, then charted at number 8 in August 1980. Following Yes, it was Connie Francis with her compilation, 20 All-Time Greats. This was the third of Connie Francis's 3 charting albums, and it was her sole UK number 1. 19 of the 20 tracks on the album registered on the UK singles chart, including her number 1 hits Who's Sorry Now and Stupid Cupid, and her number 3 Lipstick on Your Collar.
Stupid Cupid, stop picking on me. You make me the lipstick on your collar. Told a tale on you.
20 All-Time Greats entered the chart at number 38 on the 12th of June, and it reached number 1 on the 21st of August. It stayed at the top for 2 weeks, and it spent a total of 22 weeks on the chart. Connie Francis registered on the UK album chart one more time, when another compilation, The Singles Collection, reached number 12 in 1993. Up next, it was Elvis Presley with 40 Greatest, an album that was released in 1974, but which was ineligible for the UK album chart until 1975, as it was felt heavy TV advertising and low pricing distorted the charts. This was the 58th of Presley's 125 albums to chart in the UK. It gave him the 9th of his 13 UK number 1 albums, and his first since From Elvis in Memphis in 1969. Among the many hits on the album are the number 1s Jailhouse Rock, Return to Sender, and Wooden Heart.
I don't have a wooden heart.
40 Greatest first entered the chart at number 25 on the 29th of June, 1975. It spent 30 weeks on the chart up to late 1976 before re-entering the chart at number 5 in August 1977 following Presley's death. It spent 1 week at number 1, and it has spent a total of 52 weeks on the chart. Elvis Presley also charted with Moody Blue, his final studio album, in August 1977, peaking at number 3. Following that, the compilation album Welcome to My World charted at number 7 in September 1977. After Elvis, Diana Ross and the Supremes claimed the top spot with their compilation 20 Golden Greats. This was the 17th of the Supremes' 21 UK charting albums, including those albums made with the Temptations and the Four Tops. It also gave the Supremes the third of their 3 UK number 1 albums, following 1968's Greatest Hits, and 1969's Diana Ross and the Supremes joined the Temptations. Of the 20 tracks on the album, 18 had registered on the UK singles chart, including the number 1 hit Baby Love, and the number 3 singles Where Did Our Love Go? And You Can't Hurry Love.
My baby love, been missing you. Baby, baby, where did our love go? No, you just have to wait. She said
20 Golden Greats entered the UK album chart at number 1 on the 11th of September, and it stayed there for 7 weeks. The album spent a total of 35 weeks on the chart. The Supremes next entered the UK album chart with the compilation Love Supreme in 1989, which peaked at number 10. After that, they charted with another compilation, 40 Golden Motown Greats, in 1998, this time reaching number 35. Next, it was the turn of Cliff Richard with 40 Golden Greats. This was the 30th of Cliff Richard's 73 UK charting albums, and it gave him the 4th of his 7 number 1s, following 21 Today, and The Young Ones, both in 1961, and Summer Holiday in 1963. Among the hits included on 40 Golden Greats are Cliff Richard's UK number 1 hits Living Doll, Summer Holiday, and Congratulations.
Talking, sleeping, walking, living doll. We're all going on a summer holiday. No more.
Congratulations and jubilation.
40 Golden Greats entered the chart at number 5 on the 16th of October, and it reached the top spot 2 weeks later. It stayed at number 1 for a single week, and it spent a total of 19 weeks on the chart. Cliff Richard's next album to chart was Small Corners, an album of contemporary Christian music, in March 1978. The album peaked at number 33. After that, his next studio album, Green Light, reached number 25 in October of the same year. The Sex Pistols replaced Cliff Richard at number 1 with Nevermind the Bollocks, Here's the Sex Pistols, the only studio album they ever made. This gave the Sex Pistols the first of their 10 UK album chart appearances. They have since charted with various repackages and compilations. Nevermind the Bollocks contained 12 tracks, including the singles Anarchy in the UK, God Save the Queen and Pretty Vacant.
Anarchy for the UK, it's coming sometime. God save the Queen, we mean it, man. We're so pretty, oh so pretty.
The album charted at number 1 on the 6th of November, and it stayed at the top of the chart for 2 weeks. It spent a total of 48 weeks on the chart. The Sex Pistols next charted with The Great Rock and Roll Swindle, the soundtrack to the film of the same name, in 1979, reaching number 7. After that, the interview album Some Product Carry On Sex Pistols reached number 6 in August of the same year. Following the Sex Pistols, it was Bread with The Sound of Bread, their 20 finest songs. This was the 6th of Bread's 9 UK charting albums, and it was also the band's sole UK number 1. Among the 20 tracks contained on the album are the UK top 40 singles Everything I Own, Baby I'ma Want You, and The Guitar Man.
Baby, I'ma want you. Baby, I'ma need you. Night after night, who treats you right? Baby, it's the Guitar Man.
The Sound of Bread entered the chart at number 14 on the 30th of October, and it reached number 1 2 weeks later. After 2 weeks at number 1, it reclaimed the top spot for a week in January 1978. The album spent a total of 46 weeks on the chart. Bread next charted with the compilation The Very Best of Bread in 1987, reaching number 84. After that, Essentials charted in 1997, peaking at number 9. This album was credited to band member David Gates and Bread. The final number 1 album of 1977 was the compilation album Disco Fever. This album contained 20 charting songs from the era, and it included the UK number 1 singles Yes Sir I Can Boogie by Baccara, So You Win Again by Hot Chocolate, and Silver Lady by David Soul.
I can boogie if you stay.
You win again. Come on, silver lady, take my word. I won't run.
Disco Fever first charted at number 16 on the 20th of November, and it reached number 1 2 weeks later. It stayed at the top of the chart for 6 weeks, and it spent a total of 20 weeks on the chart. And that concludes our review of the number 1 albums of 1977. We hope you enjoyed it, and please come back for the next countdown. Thanks for watching.